2 has entered the podcast.
Welcome back, people, to Player 2 has entered the podcast. I am your co-host, Michael, a.k.a. MC Paperstacks, and with me, as always, is my co-host with the co-most,
Derrick, a.k.a. Full Metal Merc. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. I can't complain. How you doing?
Doing all right. You know, I had a little doctor's visit earlier because I needed to re-up on my anxiety medication prescription because, of course, I hadn't been to the doctor since May of 2020.
Oh, wow.
And I tried to call in a prescription refill, and they said, "No, you have to get your ass in here, boy." I was like, "No, I don't."
What about remote visit?
Right.
I ended up doing a remote visit to get blood pressure pills. We are old men. Well, I'm old.
Yeah.
Mine's blood pressure. Yours is. I feel like every kid that's 20 nowadays got to have some kind of psychoactive. This world is nuts.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting there. But so I went in there. I was like, she's like, "Hey, how you feeling? Blah, blah, blah." It's like, "Yeah, I just need the shit now, doc. I need the shit now." So she gave me like a 3-month supply and then like 10 refills or some shit like that. I was like, "Oh yeah, baby."
Wow.
And she told me, "You know, you're a little heavy for your height. You know, you might want to get that down." Yeah, because they weighed me and I was like 265. I was like, "Fuck."
Woo.
I have been 250 since like the end of college. So like
it's that pandemic weight, bro.
Bruh, from 2013 till like the last time I got weighed, I was 250 and I'm 265. So I'm like, either I need to lose weight or I need to figure out a way to get taller.
Well, if you ever figure out the latter part, let me know.
Yeah, I was telling my wife, I said, I'm going to travel. I'll be like Doctor Strange traveling all these mountaintops looking for some sort of sage to make me taller because I just don't want to lose the weight. I'd rather keep the weight, gain some height. But, you know, it is what it is. So I got my pills. I'm good because I was off them shits for like 2-3 months. Mm-hmm. And it was not good. It just started, I just started to crash off of them. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I hear you.
Pissing off my wife, pissing myself off. So I'm back. I'm getting good.
No, I'm glad. I'm kind of off because I was doing therapy for a while. And then I was on some stuff, too, that, you know, kind of balanced me out because I got history. But they were acting funny during the pandemic and just cut me off. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try to go it because a lot of my stressors or things that would kind of trigger me were removed. A lot of it had, you know, to do without me going out into the world and interacting with people and also work. And all of that was really subdued by the fact that, A, I didn't have to go nowhere, and B, I could work from home. But now that I'm re-entering the world, I'm wondering if maybe I have to get on that as well. So, or maybe take some shrooms. I'll talk about that later.
But yeah,
what else is going on this week?
Yeah, other than that, you know, I had a few pickups. This is mainly from the Nintendo DS, which I barely find them. They're all complete. Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood, which I think is a Sonic RPG.
Wow.
For the DS, a turn-based RPG. Another game I've never heard of. Flower, Sun, and Rain, Murder and Mystery in Paradise. That is the entire title. I've never heard of this game. Apparently this game is like $100 or something.
It's by X.
Crazy. Right. It's by Marvelous Entertainment, USA.
Oh, you know what? Close. I'm going to say it's close.
And then the last one, Rondo of Swords. It's a game by Atlas. It's a strategy RPG.
Damn it, I could have guessed Atlas on that one for sure.
Right. He's like, Rondo, Atlas, baby.
Rondo of Swords? Yep.
Yep. But yeah, that's what I picked up this week. That's going to be up on the store. Should be later tonight as the time of recording. So when you're hearing this, these will be up for sale. So if you're interested, email me or just message me on eBay. Or just buy them. Shit.
Cool.
But yeah, also, we got the Loki Season Finale. They just happened. Yes, season finale. It is getting another season. We're planning on doing a spoiler cast. If we can lock down, call it like I don't see it. If we can't get them, then we're just going to do it ourselves. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. We're looking to get some help because I know that Call It is one of our friend podcasts that have been very interested in the show and watching it as closely as we have. So I thought that'd be a lot of fun. So we'll see if we can get Jennifer to book AD and GP some time slots to hop in the studio and record with us. And we'll hash that thing out. We'll have some opinions on the show. I've seen opinions where people love the show, they hate the show, everything in between. But without spoiling anything, did you have any opinions on the show as a whole? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it?
I enjoyed it as a whole. There were definitely some parts that weren't as good as others, but overall, it was a good show, and it definitely paves the way for some crazy, crazy stuff going forward.
Yeah, without spoiling too much, what they introduced in the final episode, I was like, whoa, they're dropping that here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
It really lent a lot of credence to, I mean, not that I would needed convincing, to be honest, but it led a lot of credence to just how impactful these shows are going to be to the MCU at large. Especially,
Right.
I mean, when we're discussing the big boys, the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, very excited to discuss that. Look for that spoiler cast probably sometime the following weekend around that time period. This week, you found a very cool thing while thrifting that you hadn't mentioned yet since you're not putting it up for sale, but you called me about it as a fan, and I appreciate it. A anime VHS tape copy of Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals, the Fire and Wind chapters. Apparently there are 4 chapters in all.
Name.
What's that?
I said the most generic name.
A
Final
little
Fantasy,
bit.
The Legend of the Crystal.
Yeah, to be honest, the anime itself was kind of tropey and generic, but I don't know. It had its charm because it could use some of the music and some of the themes from the original games. It's a novelty for sure. We are not the only ones that found it. I was very proud of myself. I found a way to record that VHS tape via HD and OBS, and then was able to upload that to YouTube for everyone to enjoy, only to notice that it's been uploaded a few times. So I will say that mine bears the distinction of having the correct aspect ratio for the tape as well as English dub. I've seen some with stretched aspect ratios where it's like stretched to widescreen automatically, which is something OBS tried to do, but I fixed it. And like
bad
English,
OBS.
yeah, English sub, which some people prefer their sub in anime. Some people are okay with the dub. So at least I'm throwing that option out there for people. I got the English dub on lock. Don't even worry about it.
Nice.
So yeah, so that was cool. And I've been playing more of my Series X this week. Quick Resume, I found is kind of inconsistent. You remember last week when I said Quick Resume would actually resume the games, even if I shut the Xbox all the way down?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was one day where I shut it all the way down and I shut off the electricity running to it, and then it didn't work the next day. So I was like, oh, there must be 3 sleep modes. There's the sleep mode that you have to turn on that allows for background downloads, the one that drains all the power. Then there's this medium sleep mode where it leaves the games loaded up for the quick resume. And then there's, completely off. And I must have been doing the middle ground, not knowing about it. But then another day, I shut the electricity off all the way. And the next morning, it quick resumed a game. And I'm like, the fuck? So I looked into it. Apparently, quick resume has been pretty inconsistent since launch, but a recent patch may have fixed it. So if I notice any more inconsistencies, I'll definitely report them on the show. But so far, yeah, I can cut the power to my Xbox for like overnight and turn it on the next day and still quick resume a game. So that still works, which is really interesting. Nice. Because again, Sony no do this.
Right.
I did find headphones that were compatible, like some earbuds that were compatible with my Series X controller, which was nice. And I did stream, and I'll talk about it more, later on games we're playing, but I did stream a game on the Series X this week. And what I loved about it is typically, if I want to stream a game, I have to plug in these clunky headphones that I have into my TV, and they're big, and they kind of hurt my ears after a while. And with PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, you can plug a headset into your controller, right? But the way the PlayStation works, as soon as you route audio to the controller, it no longer sends audio through the HDMI signal. Oh. So that means it can't be captured when I'm streaming. So it's moot to do it that way. And I thought there was a way to have it run through the TV and the headphones, but I guess there isn't. I must be remembering maybe from PS3. I don't know. But it wouldn't work for PS4, and it doesn't work for PS5 as far as I can tell. But Xbox very easily allows you to update whether you have sound go through the TV and your headphones, or either or.
Okay.
And including shutting off the chat, when you have them turned on or not, like your microphone or whatever, which A little faster on the PS5. You can shut off your microphone by pressing that little button on the controller. So whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was neat. So that means when I'm streaming Series X, I can actually use headphones attached to my controller and not have to worry about running a cord from a TV. That's nice.
That's dope.
And if I'm playing multiplayer with somebody, that means that we can both listen to headphones and not have to have the sound play out loud, risking, some echoing on the microphone, which...
That's the worst.
Yeah, I actually did pretty good with that. It's something I'll also talk about in games we've been playing this week. Last news with me, and again... This is referencing something we're going to get into later, but a new system came out. Some people may have heard of it this week, and pre-orders went up today as of the time of recording, Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. And I was messaging you and AD and GP like, I'm going to get it. Wish me luck. No! I had to order it through Steam, and Steam was freezing, and then it was like, you ordered too many times, you're blocked from ordering. I'm like, no!
Right.
And it was all this bullshit, and I finally got it in my cart. It's a $5 reserve, so I had to add $5, but again, I had to keep pressing it because it was so slowed down by everybody else ordering. And then once I had $5 in my local wallet, then I went back to the cart where it miraculously had showed up, and wouldn't let me, again, buy with, PayPal or my credit card. And then it went straight to the buy screen because I had enough money in my wallet, and then I was finally able to get it. It was a process that took me, I want to say about a half hour, and then I took a walk to cool off, and I came back, and after another hour of trying, I got it.
Wow.
So, I know, right? It was...
Which model did you pick up? Or which, memory size?
The big boy. And again, we'll talk about it later. I'll tell you which model but I used to big boy. So, big boy model for big boys. All right. Speaking of big boys play video games. You been playing any video games this week you want to talk about?
Yeah, man. So, playing a little bit of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna the Golden Country. I'm apparently at a point where I have to do side quests in order to build up my community level so I can then do a main quest. Because for the longest time, yeah, I know. Like, games, don't make me do side quests. Like, if they're there, cool, but don't make me do them. I hate that.
If they're required, then make them the main quest. What are you doing? Get out of that.
So, I was, like, looking in my quest area on the menu, and I was like, where is the main quest? Where's the main quest? And then eventually it popped up on the bottom right. Hey, you got to raise your community level. So that means you got to do, like, 5 more side quests. And I was like, boo, next. So, so I went to Scarlet Nexus. I actually ended up beating it this week. I beat it with Yuito, the male main character.
Okay.
And it was actually really good. Like, there's a lot of anime bullshit, but if this is, like, Bandai Namco trying, or whoever, like, Bandai Namco publishing a game that is actually trying as far as the story and combat and stuff, I can't wait to see what else they put out like, in the future, because it's actually quite good. Like,
what makes you say it's Bandai trying? What's the basis of comparison here?
Well, a lot of anime games are not good. Like, let's just be real. A lot of stuff that they like a lot of stuff that they publish either like 1-to-1 to an anime or an arena brawler that's subpar. Like the Ultimate Ninja Storm series, excellent series that they publish.
But they're kind of cash grabby for the most part, and a lot of those are produced by Bandai. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and so this looks to be something that can just bring them further into the forefront of story-based action games, or just over mediocre, because most of the games they put out are mediocre.
Why do you think they put so much effort in it? I mean, again, I'm assuming you think they put effort into it because it's good, but if that's true, let's just assume they did put more effort than the usual effort, right?
Right.
Why do you think they did that? What would be the motivation in this case versus all the other cases?
I am honestly not sure. I do know that there's an anime airing alongside it. So it may be part of the reason to drum up excitement for the anime and get people to buy the Blu-rays, but the anime also gets people to buy the games. So it's like kind of a relationship that feeds off of each other. I honestly not sure, man.
Do you know if Scarlet Nexus is an IP that Bandai Namco like owns and not just licenses to make the game like they would with other anime games?
I'm pretty sure it's a new IP.
Okay, that they own.
Yeah, that they own.
And they're producing that. Maybe that's it. We talk about Omega
Actually,
Force.
okay. Oh. Sorry. It is developed by Bandai Namco Studios.
Okay.
And Tosei.
Okay.
And it's also published by Bandai Namco. So.
Okay.
They made this game.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors, that's Omega Force's baby. And you would think that they would try with that, but the interesting thing with them is they put less effort into their original IP, but then when they get hired, say, by Nintendo or Atlas to make Hyrule Warrior, like Team Ninja, of course, made Hyrule Warriors, but I think they developed alongside them, like it was a group effort. You know, other spin-offs, they actually do a really good job. And it's almost like they're dependent on who's funding the money, but if they're doing their own thing, they're like, let's half-ass it. So you would think it would make more sense that it would go the way Bandai Namco seems to be going, which is, this is our shit, we're going to take it seriously, right?
Right.
I just find that dynamic interesting, because you would think, the argument, I guess, with Omega Force would be, if somebody's going to hand us their IP, we want to keep getting those jobs, so we're going to take this seriously, right? But we can be a little lazy with our shit, because who cares? But I find it interesting that Bandai Namco has had a lot of lazy cash grabs. And again, maybe it's just because the oversight was loose. They're like, we don't care what you do. We just want to make money off this anime. But then now they got their own shit. They're like, no, we're going to do this right. I just find that interesting.
Right. Yeah. But they also like publish the Tales games and stuff. So,
and those are really
I love those. I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to talk about that. They publish and develop a lot of shit. Like, a lot. So they're big. They're big.
Big.
But yeah, as far as playing through as the other character, Kasane, I'm not sure I want to, because the characters, their stories intertwine. At a certain point, both the stories are the same. But I know there are parts where Kasane experiences different things than Yuito. And like there's a big plot point that it's like, if you play through as Yuito, you don't find out what happens to this large plot point. And I'm like, well, what happened to this? So I just looked it up and I was like, oh, okay. So if I play as Kasane, I get to see that stuff. So I might go back through it. I don't know. I know she plays a little differently, but overall it's the same. She has a different squad, so she has different powers. But again, like towards the end of the game, it kind of combines to where you can do pretty much everything. So,
well, you know, like save it for a nostalgia playthrough. You know, like a year or two after you play a game. I know this has always happened with you because a lot of times you like to sell them. But if you really like a game and you hang on to it, you can go back to it, and that could be your excuse to play it a different way.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to sell this though. Like it was actually pretty good, surprisingly.
That's the biggest praise you could give it. If you're not immediately looking to sell it after you finished it, that's good praise. Yeah,
just like I kept Ratchet and Clank. Like I think I'm just gonna hold on to my PS5 games for the foreseeable future, and then you know if I have to sell them, I'll sell them. But I don't know. I like the idea of having a PS5 collection and building it, seeing it grow from one game to 100 or whatever.
Cool.
So yeah. The other game I finally started, Judgment, on PS5.
Speaking of PS5.
Right. And I love it.
Yeah. How far did you get? What chapter are you on?
I'm still on the first chapter. Okay. So remember last time I said I got to the point where I controlled the drone to find the Yakuza guy in the office.
I don't think we talked about you playing Judgment yet, actually.
Okay. So I played the PS4 version for like a few hours and then I just stopped.
Okay.
Right. So then I got past that part in the beginning, and then I was just like, this is freaking awesome. I love it. The PS5 upgrades are great. You know, I believe it's going at 60 frames per second.
It is.
And yeah, it's crispy, and the launch edition gives you so many little gifts, presents that you can pick up outside your office.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you got these.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Oh my God. I went to the thing and I was pressing X to receive gifts for like,
it took like 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah, it was
ridiculous.
How much stuff are you going to give me? Jesus.
Yeah, and so the coolest thing that I found was that there's these little orbs in your items menu. You have an infinite amount of them, and they each do like something different and OP. So there's one that allows you to shoot fireballs for like 10 seconds, just out of your hands, and it's infinite. There's one that allows you to that's called Heavenly Strike. It allows you to call down like beams from heaven or whatever. I don't know. But it was just really cool that they would put stuff into this game. Like these are like cheat codes that they just give you, basically.
Yeah, they definitely break the game, so you'd want to use them sparingly. But you know what? They're actually inspired by something you get access to later in the game. This isn't going to ruin anything story-wise, but you're going to meet a character and you go on a side quest to basically start picking up more stuff around the city. You don't see much now. You might see a few like screws here and there for drone stuff, but eventually you'll see more junk. And it's used to make these tonics. Now, when you make the tonics, you do have limited uses, but they do similar things. There are tonics you don't have little talismans for, ones that maybe give you more experience for a certain amount of time, or maybe raise your special gauge for a certain amount of time, stuff like that. But there are tonics very similar to the ones you have infinite uses of, with a cooldown, obviously. But yeah, I think it's inspired by that. But the fact that they give you those so you can, you know, for people who are returning to the game and maybe just want to play it a little bit more loosely, they have ones where you can just do a dance to increase your special, increase your health. Like you said, shoot fireballs. It's kind of neat. And you think you got a lot of money or a lot of stuff that's worth a lot of money, but that shit goes pretty quick because you run through money like you would. I mean, you've played Yakuza. You know what it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
But it's a nice little bump for people who return to the game, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, it's cool. I used one on a boss fight towards the end of it, and it just killed him like instantly. I was like, oh wow. I should probably not use these if I want to have a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah,
but if I'm having too much of a challenge, I can just, you know,
they're good in a pinch to adjust the difficulty if you feel like you can't get past a part, I guess. There you go. Yeah,
so I'm loving everything about it. The English voice acting does not bug me.
It's good.
I wanted to play it in Japanese, but like I said, with Yakuza games, it is hard to stay awake when you're playing a game with Japanese voices. It is so hard because you got to read.
They're very dialogue heavy because they're like they're almost like Japanese soap operas to me. You know?
Exactly.
Which isn't bad because, man, when the drama's high, I love it in a game. They set it up to where, you know, your buddy comes in to save you and it's just like, kill him. And there's like all this high action and drama going on. You're like, what's going to happen? I mean, they're really good at nailing those like, yes moments. And there's a lot of those in this game too, of course. So.
Yeah. And I told my wife Kaito is daddy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Kaito, that's my boy.
Yeah.
I said, hey, ex-Yakuza, let's go. But yeah, so Judgment, I'm really enjoying it. If you get a chance to, I picked it up on sale at GameStop like last week. It was $25, brand new.
That's how much I got it for too. Yeah,
sweet. But very, very high praise from me, from Michael. Obviously, if you're interested in a Yakuza style game, you've never played it before, it's a perfect.
It's a great entry to the series, just to kind of get you used to Kamurocho, which is where most of the games take place. So.
And the last thing that I played this week was a little game that I played with you, called Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks.
Mortal Kombat! Boop, 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 doo, 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 doo. Yeah, you're right. Monday Night Brawl. I had my first guest on the stream ever, Full Metal Merc, in the studio, seeing how all the sausage is made.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert. It's not that complicated. We sat in front of a microphone and played a video game together. But yeah, it was awesome because, I mean, all the beat-em-ups are obviously co-op friendly, but I was really happy to have you along because I feel like Mortal Kombat specifically is made so you and a friend can play Kung Lao and Liu Kang and go on adventures together.
Right.
I'm excited to hear what you thought because we didn't really talk about it afterwards.
I mean, it was, I've played the game and beaten it before, like when it first came out. I do not remember it being so difficult to figure out where to go.
Yeah, I was going to say, for a guy that's beat it before, you sure were stumped? I mean, I think at one point we had to stop and look up a walkthrough. We were like, where the hell did we go?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I say I beat it before, like, that was like 15 years ago, so.
What were you, like 2?
Right. No, it's like 15 or 16, so.
Yeah.
It was quite a while ago. Yeah, I remember I played that with my friend Jordan. And, I mean, it's still really fun. It's still really fun upgrading your character and doing the fatalities. We literally just pulled up the game facts list. And it's like, okay, now do this fatality. Sometimes they wouldn't work. You'd be like, okay, maybe we got to unlock that later. There's a certain point where we had to long jump across an area.
Oh, God.
And we just got the long jump ability. And we kept veering off to the side into the spikes.
It was terrible.
It was hilarious.
I felt like we were centered and we just kept jumping off the side. I think you finally got across and then it teleported me. I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, it was so
Platforming
funny.
was bad. I think maybe not 5 minutes prior to that, I was like, these are cool, but platforming in Mortal Kombat games are always bad. And we were like jumping up these ledges, and I'm like, I'm getting worried that they're going to have us do more platforming. And then bam, the bridge more incident.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it, the bridge incident of
the
Monday
bridge
Night
incident.
Brawlers.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was a great time. I really enjoyed it. The voice acting wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, and the cutscenes were awesome, man.
Oh yeah, that intro
opening
cutscene was ridiculous.
Wow.
Johnny Cage getting his head bitten by reptile.
That was crazy.
Nom nom dawn.
Yeah, he got nommed on for sure.
But he's fine 2 seconds later.
Goro coming in, wrecking shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I really liked about the game, I mean, the fact that you can do fatalities on jobbers is really cool, just to see those cutscenes, and that there was a bunch of them, so you could figure out what your favorite ones were. They weren't overly complicated to do either. And then it did still unlock abilities as we went through. I wish that you can control the camera more often and that it was a little less obtuse about what you had to do. But those are really my only complaints about the game. Everything else was fine. I like the combat. I like the fact that you can level up your moves so that they end up getting more complicated as you go throughout the game. So you might start being able to shoot a fireball as Liu Kang, but then you can upgrade it to shoot a upper and lower fireball in succession. And then like different moves had different functions. Like I had a dedicated uppercut on one of my specials that I could use to knock guys into spikes. There were the level fatalities all over, like those catapults where we could just go, looks like Team Bad Guys blasting off again. That was great. So that's up on my Twitch, twitch.tv/MCPaperstacks, and it's up on MC Paperstacks Plays on YouTube. I encourage everybody to go check it out because it was a lot of fun and it was cool to have a guest. And hopefully next time I can fix the mic so we can both be heard a little better. I was really worried about it picking up the TV. So I was like trying to adjust the levels all the way up until you got there. But I think we pulled it off okay. Did you get a chance to watch any of it?
No, not yet.
I watched about half of it. We did all right. There were parts where it was kind of hard to hear us, and I was like, but it was fun.
Yeah.
So
well, at first I think we were really high energy, and then it was eventually like
it was just like, well, we're playing a video game now.
Playing a game.
Yeah, that part in the middle where we got stuck, I was like, this sucks. But no, I had a great time overall. It was a great co-op experience. Speaking of co-op experiences, I did some online playing this week.
Oh.
So
you never do that.
I know. I think it was Friday night. I think it's just I have a Series X, so then our new gamer friends can see that I'm on. And, I'm in the Discord, so I think it was Friday night or Saturday night. I think it was Friday night, just so it was like the night we recorded last week. After I did my horror game stream, Big Nakruma was like, hey, anybody down to play some Apex Legends or Knockout City? And I'm like, oh, okay. I want to try out Knockout City. I downloaded it. So I reached out like, hey, I don't have Apex downloaded, but I have Knockout City. And they're like, well, download Apex. I was like, okay. So I had that download. We were playing Knockout City. And it did not go so great for me, unfortunately. Knockout City is not a bad game, and it's definitely easy to pick up. There are a lot of maneuvers to go over. It's been out for a while, though, and it was 3-on-3, me with Big Nakruma and Audio Nerd 64 against another team of 3. And I was consistently the worst person of all 6 that played. And we played like 4 matches. And I actually got successively worse. Like I started out like a 0.98 kill death ratio, and then was like 0.7 something, 0.5. I was like, God, why do I suck so bad? And I was like psyching myself out. It was my first time, and I was kind of in a funky mood because I felt like I should be more high energy. But I recorded the podcast. I did the horror stream. I think I mowed the lawn that day. Like I did a bunch of stuff. And I was wiped, but I really wanted to like hang out with them because I never really get the opportunity. I haven't got the opportunity yet. And I just felt like I was being boring and downcast because I was like, I suck, guys. And
I wish I could be better.
Yeah, it just kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. But I was like, well, they were being really cool. They're great guys to play with. I think if anybody's looking for a good online gaming community, you could do a lot worse than Gamer Friends Discord. Everybody on there is super nice. And I actually, Monday night, after we played Mortal Kombat, again, I was on my Xbox, and I got an invite to a party, and it was Big Nakruma, Audio Nerd 64, and then a couple of their friends, Jack and Tim, and they're in the, I guess, their Destiny 2 clan. And they were going to play Apex. I did finally get Apex downloaded. It's like 64 gigs. I'm like, why the fuck is this free-to-play game so huge?
Right.
So we go to play Apex Legends, and it's like a battle royale. So think like, PUBG or Fortnite. But the characters are more individualistic, say like Overwatch maybe. Like they all have their own powers or whatever. It's first-person shooter. I don't play those a whole lot. Apex has been out forever. There are people that play nothing but Apex all day long. I mean, think King Thugless. I think he does that a lot. And I just got my ass handed to me. I got whooped. And I was on a team with them. We're a team of 3 trying to last in this battle royale. We just kept losing. And, of course, I got the least points. And, again, they were super nice. They took me to this arena to help me train and teach me the game. We hopped back in and kept trying. Then we switched the game mode to arena where, again, we only went against another team of 3. And I just kept dying over and over again. I was not having any fun. And It was just really humbling because I like to pride myself on being someone who can pick up games really easily and really quickly, or just pick up anything really easily and really quickly. Like I have that type of mind. I mean, think about when we were playing It Takes Two. I'm not better than you in video games. I think we're about pretty evenly matched. There's a lot of games that you're way better than me at, but I consistently was kicking your butt at those mini games because we were only doing them once. And I'm really quick to adapt to like a quick game, right? That's why I'm always decent at Mario Party. I feel like if we played best 3 out of 5, you probably would have won a lot more matches, to be honest. Yeah, which is why I was like, I won. Let's move on.
Right. We got to finish the story. Go!
But yeah, they were like, hey, man, we're not going to keep you if you're not having fun. I was like, yeah, I'm not. I'm sorry. You know, maybe if we play Overcooked or something. And so I logged off, and I was almost in tears, dude. Like, I know. I felt, like, really sad.
I'm a lowercase G.
I did. I know. And it's so dumb because they did not make me feel that way. They weren't mean about it. It's just, it had been so long since I had anybody to play online with that I know like really wants to play online and plays online consistently. And not once, but twice in a row, I got on and was just a fucking scrub. And it just, it sucked, you know? No. So shout outs to that Tim guy, to Jack, to Audio Nerd 64, to Big Nkrumah, to the Gamer Friends. Thank you for welcoming me into your community. I hope the next time we play online, I won't be as bad. I think I would be more apt to play something more co-op driven. Among Us sounds like something I could get into. Like I said, Overcooked. You know, you and I played Streets of Rage online. That was a lot of fun. Ghost of Tsushima. Me, you, GP, and AD used to tear that shit up. It was great. Yeah. Call me MC Barrel Stacks. But, you know, I know they're going to give me a second chance. I was really bummed out at first, and I was like, I just fell flat on my face in front of my new friends, and it just sucked. So, no knock on the games, though. They seem wonderful and competent, and I can see why a lot of people like them. I've never been into those types of games, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I even explained to them, I was like, I am so varied. I mean, listen to the number of games I talk about every week. I jump from game to game. I feel like in order to be decent at a game where you're constantly going up against somebody else, especially since they play the game a ton, you have to play the game a ton. And I don't like being shackled to a single game. Like it's don't get me wrong. That style of gameplay is fun in its own right. It's really cool to constantly play the same game and get really good at it and be one of the best. I get it when somebody seeks that type of fun, right? I get that. Totally. It's just that hasn't been me for the longest time. And I got a stark reminder of that just recently. So, yeah, that was my experience online this week. Me. But I did play some other stuff that was good and also sucked. For First Time Tuesdays on that stream, I played The Wonderful 101. It was the remastered version for Switch. Have you played The Wonderful 101 at all?
I played it a little bit on the Wii U, and I did not enjoy what I played.
Yeah, try that, but without the gamepad, even though you still have to draw things, but you have to do it with the Pro Controller. Ooh. It's worse. I didn't like it either. I was not having any fun at all. I cut that stream short. I think I only played that game for an hour. No, I played that game for 50 minutes, and to make it a full hour, I think I popped on Gunstar Heroes. Wow. I was having the worst day on Tuesday, probably because I'm coming off that bad online session, and I was just in a bummy, I was just in a crappy mood on Tuesday. And I was like, cool, I'm going to do the stream. It's a new game. It's going to cheer me up. Then the game was bad. And I was like, no, why? So The Wonderful 101, it's clunky. I get what they were going for. I don't find it fun. You're constantly going in between trying to attack somebody. And then if you mess up or get hit even once, then you're running around trying to pick up all your lemmings so you can go back to attacking again. So it's constantly stopping you from playing in that respect, if that makes sense. And I can't recommend it. It's a miss for platinum for sure, in my humble opinion. So
yeah, you'll probably the best way to play it would be on Wii U.
For sure. I would 100%. It is. I have never played a game more gamepad dependent. And even then, I'm wondering how much fun I would actually have, especially since you telling me that you played it on the Wii U and didn't really like it. So
Yeah.
what was your grief with it?
I just wasn't interested in the gameplay overall.
Just
like the drawing the stuff and
I gotta admit,
I don't
same.
know. I feel like Okami did it better.
Okami did it better.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, definitely here to hear it. No one else has ever made that hot take.
Right.
Yeah, so I played Gunstar Heroes because it's my favorite Sega Genesis game, and it definitely cheered me up. So the last 10 minutes of the stream, I was like, which was nice. And then, of course, I played Resident Evil Village. It popped off last week.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! I got through Heisenberg, and I had a run-in with Mother Miranda. That went how it went. Tonight's episode, which will already be up by the time people are listening to this, will be the last episode of Resident Evil Village, and I can finally start getting to those rare PS2 horror games I've been talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I'm excited to go in and finish Resident Evil Village tonight. It's been quite a ride. I've really enjoyed the game. I love how much it feels like Resident Evil 4 while still being its own thing. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a weird marriage between Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 7. And I really like how it's leaning into its campiness again, but still being scary. And there's definitely some awesome moments. I even found an optional boss. I don't remember the last time I fought an optional boss in a Resident Evil game. Do you? I mean, well, you don't play Resident Evil like that.
I don't play Resident Evil, so yeah.
But yeah, that's not a game you would typically expect to find an optional boss. I was thoroughly surprised, and it was really fun, the encounter. So yeah, that game gets 2 thumbs up from me for sure, and I haven't even finished it yet. Looking forward to that tonight. And that will wrap up the games that I have played this week. So at this point, I think it would be time to get on over to a gaming news. Derrick.
Oh, yeah.
Full Metal Merc.
I got a few quick ones for y'all. So first off, Christopher Judge is going to be voicing Black Panther in Marvel's Avengers War for Wakanda expansion.
Boy.
So if anything... Right. So if nothing else, the character will sound good and the game will still probably be bad.
Captain America, do not be sorry. Be better.
Right. Be better.
Yeah, if you can't tell, Christopher Judge is the voice of Kratos in the new God of War.
Yes.
So I'm happy. I think that's a good... I'm not going to play that game. Maybe I'll watch cutscene or something. Respect Christopher Judge.
Yep. The Tales of Arise opening is on YouTube and it's very hype. Yes. Arise chicken.
Arise chicken. So you said the opening's on YouTube?
Oh my god. Yeah, the opening. So, the little anime opening that is at the beginning of every Tales game. They're usually all pretty hype. This one was hype, so it's got me even more hype for the game.
Oh, man.
I watch the openings every single time I boot up a Tales game.
Wow.
Every single time.
You don't skip it not once?
No.
Wow.
Never skip it. No.
Are they as good as Dynasty Warriors games openings? Because those got pretty hype after a while.
I haven't heard a Dynasty Warriors opening since like 3. And I don't even remember it because I haven't played one since.
What?
Actually, the most recent Dynasty Warriors game I played is Strike Force, if that says anything.
Dude, you have to get on YouTube today. Everybody, listen, get on YouTube today.
Right.
Okay? I need you to open up YouTube. I need you to search Dynasty Warriors opening and watch all. They are fucking bananas. I mean, we were talking about how the movie kind of looks like Dynasty Warriors. The openings of these, what they do with Jung Yoon, like in his spear and all the dumb shit he gets up to. There's one point where, like, I think he jump kicks a horse. It's so stupid. Nice. Anyways, okay, awesome. I just wanted to insert that. So, Tales of Arise, the opening. Got it.
Yeah, and that game is coming out September 10th, and it's already pre-ordered for me.
Woo.
It's changing up the formula a little bit. The graphic style, the combat looks amazing. It looks so good. And hopefully I can get Michael to try it out after I beat it.
I'm looking forward to hearing about it and possibly giving it a shot. Maybe it'll be my new Ease 8.
All right. And next up, we got Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. This is a Smash clone from Nickelodeon. And it actually doesn't look bad, but the only thing is, it literally looks like a straight-up copy. Like, they have the same smoke that X is a character when they get knocked off screen. I'm sure that it's going to have a similar button configuration for the moves, but they've got a lot of Nickelodeon characters. They've got a couple Ninja Turtles, Michelangelo and Leonardo.
That
Got Powdered Toast Man.
Yeah,
Powdered Toast Man. From Ren and Stimpy. Like, what? And Reptar from Rugrats. Olga from Hey Arnold, which I'm confused as to why Arnold was not a character, Gerald.
They didn't show all the characters yet. By the way, if they don't have Log, then 0 out of 10. I'm not buying it.
Log from...
It's Log. It's Log. It's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's Log. It's Log. It's better than bad, it's good.
It is not ringing a bell. But
it's from Ren and Stimpy, like Powdered Toast Man.
Okay.
It was basically a kid's commercial that was like a play off of the Slinky.
Okay.
What goes downstairs, rolls over in pairs, rolls over your neighbor's dog. Like, there's a whole song. Yeah, it's basically, it's literally just a log, like a wooden log. That's it. It's so dumb, plank. But that's why it's funny. It's awesome. Basically plank.
Right. And you got SpongeBob, Sandy, and Patrick, of course. Mm-hmm. I think they confirmed like 14 or 17 characters, so be on the lookout for that. It's coming out fall 2021. And what I'm hearing is people are actually interested. Like YouTubers that play Smash and stuff are actually interested and say it looks amazing. So
yeah, Mighty Keith, Alpha Rat. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and on YouTube talking about it. Like, it's getting some buzz. So cool. You know, we've had a lot of challengers in the past. A lot of Smash clones have come and gone. They didn't really stick around. They didn't have what it took. You know, I am all about competition. And if this comes out, ends up being great, to me, so much the better. There's room. Maybe one day we will get Super Smash Brothers versus Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Wouldn't that be amazing? Versus Marvel or versus Capcom versus
even better.
SNK versus Tekken versus Street Fighter.
Yeah, even better, maybe we'll get a PlayStation All-Stars 2 that's actually not bad.
That's not ass.
Well, not bad. Like, I enjoyed what I played of PlayStation All-Stars. Don't get me wrong, but it definitely was no Smash.
Overall, it didn't feel great to me, and I didn't like how you had to win matches. But there was also one little gripe that I never really got past. It just bugged me. I didn't like how the theme stages were crossovers. I wanted the stage to be singularly about the game it was derived from, not like God of War cross Patapon. Because then you're like taking me out of it, because now I'm just seeing a bunch of shit that don't belong together in the background, right?
Right.
That's a minor gripe. But then the gameplay and how you win matches didn't really land with me either. But I agree with you. If they can give it a Sakurai level of polish and try again, they have well enough. I mean, Dante actually got in that game. I mean, I guess he got in Smash too, kind of.
Right. Yeah, they've got enough, man. They got Sly, Jack, Ratchet.
Oh, yeah. The case has been made.
Dante,
I mean, just with the original cast, for sure.
Yeah, they even had Isaac from Dead Space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was in the game. Yeah, he was DLC, though.
Yeah,
he was DLC. Him and Zeus were DLC.
Ah.
Let's see. Moving on.
Yes.
A WATA graded copy of Super Mario 64, graded a 9.8, sold for $1.5 million at Heritage Auctions.
What's this grading thing? What is that?
Yeah, so grading is basically the process. You send your game into a company that grades the game. They have an expert, quote unquote, expert look at the seal and see if there's any creases, if there's any dents in the box, whatever. And then they assign a grade to it. And then they encase it in this special grading company plastic case, and it's pretty, and it has a little sticker on it that tells you the grade and like if it was ever circulated, if it was
you get
like
the Carfax
special edition or whatever.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, you get the Carfax.
You get the Carfax for the game.
You get the Carfax for the game.
So 9.8, is it out of 10?
It's out of 10.
Wow.
Which part of me is like, well, why not just give it a 10 then? Because
well,
honestly,
maybe they have very specific docking. Maybe you got docked 2 points for like a small little, I don't know, maybe because it wasn't vacuum sealed 100% perfectly. I don't know. Who knows?
Right. Yeah. It seems to me like a very arbitrary way to pump up the value of sealed games. But that shit
worked. Me. I mean, God,
there's
1.5 million?
Yeah. And so the issue comes in when we're basically trying to figure out if a customer actually bought this or if it was someone within WATA or Heritage Auctions that has deep pockets that bought it so as to pump up the value of the grading process, which gets people to send more stuff in, which gets them to send more stuff to the auction, more money. Then eventually you can charge more for the grading process, because right now it's not that expensive. But yeah, it's wild. There's a lot that goes into it. One of the board of directors for WATA actually bought the copy from Heritage Auctions of an original Super Mario Brothers on Nintendo. So the information is out there, and they're kind of just like, aha, we're doing this, and what are you going to do about it, basically? So it seems they also WATA doesn't release population reports. So a population report is basically where they let you know how many copies of this game they've graded and are out there.
Okay.
As far as we know, they could have graded 50 copies of the Super Mario 64 at a 9.8, and they're just out there, and somebody could have paid 1.5 million. The person that bids also does not have to buy the item, which is another thing. So cash.
So they could they could have plants that would raise up the price for the real bidder who gets stuck with the bill, or if it was a fake bidder that got stuck with it, they could just do it all over again. Right.
So that's why it's a little fishy. I don't know. Like, Super Mario 64 is a common game, and you can find that game sealed easier than, say, like, Go On for PS2 or Haunting Grounds or whatever. Like, Super Mario 64 sold millions and millions of copies. Millions of copies. So there has to be other sealed copies that can be graded at a 9.8 out there. It has to be.
Interesting.
So I'm just saying this. Like, I've thought about getting into grading myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you going to send all your shit in while it's cheap?
Yeah, I've thought about it. I might do it. I might not. It just seems like there's something ethically not right there going on. But I don't know. They do it with comics, which I feel like makes more sense because comics are harder to come by in good condition. Like games are basically a dime a dozen, especially when they sold millions of copies. So I might do it, but I don't find enough sealed games, let alone ones that are in good enough condition to get graded anyway.
Fair enough.
But just to give you a point of reference, actually on Facebook Marketplace, I saw somebody with a 6.5 graded Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, and they were asking $350,000 for a 6.5 grade. There's no precedent for that, mind you.
Right.
But this whole business with this 1.5 million Super Mario 64 now has people thinking, oh, wow, I've got $1 million in my closet.
Yeah.
When it's like, no, you don't. But, it's well, fine, I mean, I guess.
I can't knock the hustle. Depending on how you spin it, maybe you do have $1 million in your closet. You find the right buyer, the right time, the right mindset. I mean, again, the game itself is not worth $1.5 million, even sealed. We both know this.
Right.
There's so many different ways to play it. There's so many different ways to get the physical cartridge. The box. There's so many different ways you could recreate that whole setup. I mean...
There is no logical reason to buy a game, Super Mario 64, for $1.5 million.
Other than maybe they were girls watching. I don't know. Like maybe
there were girls watching.
Maybe it was a flex. I don't know.
Right. And speaking of sealed games, it's just moving on from the whole grading thing. I feel like the only reason to buy a sealed game that's old is to have the feeling of I'm the first person to play this copy of the game. You know what I mean?
It's a little possessive and creepy when you think about it.
Yeah, it's I would not buy a sealed game.
Well, a lot of people buy sealed games, they never open them, and that's
as an investment.
Yeah, maybe they're investing. They're going to sell it later, or they're a collector and they just legit want to display it, and that's their Fabergé egg. I'm not going to knock that either, but it's just 1.5. There are people dying of hunger. Like, not to go on any, I'm not going to go on a leftist rant. I promise. It just blows my mind when I hear stuff like that. It's just like, word. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Some of us got too much money. Some of us got too. That's all I'm going to say. Okay.
Some of us need to share. Okay.
Yeah. I kind of wish there was a system in place to take some of that money that they don't know what to do with. Nah, bitch. You ain't going to space. These people are hungry. Right. Okay. Moving on. What else we got this week? That's about to piss me off. I think not too long.
Right. We've got some Final Fantasy X news. So apparently there was an interview with Weekly Famitsu. It was for Final Fantasy X's 20th anniversary. We had the producer Yoshinori Kitase, the director Motomu Toriyama, the writer Kazushige Nojima, and the character designer Tetsu Nomura.
Mr.
And
Belt
so basically,
himself.
yeah, we love it. And you know what? I don't care what anybody says. I still love that man. I still love that man. He's giving me some of my favorite things ever.
He's like the Tim Burton of Japanese video game developers in that he made some really cool shit when he was younger. Kind of questionable if you look at it too closely. But then as he's gone on, his shit's gone a little bit crazier and crazier. And you're like, I don't know if I can hang with it anymore. But I digress.
Right.
He's not that far along yet because Final Fantasy VII Remake, I mean, people can have their gripes about it. It was pretty good. So
yeah, it was amazing. So basically, I'm just going to give you a couple quotes from the article. They're basically asking if Final Fantasy X-3 is a possibility, or if it's a thing, or if it's ever been a thing. And Nojima said, if there's going to be a Final Fantasy X-3, then for the time being, we do have the synopsis. So that means that there is some sort of outline for a Final Fantasy X-3 game. And then another quote, the possibility is not zero, the Final Fantasy X-2 director Toriyama said, but first, we're not done making Final Fantasy VII Remake, so we're not in a position to talk about it just yet. So the Kotaku article says that that's not a hard no from Square Enix.
It's a traditional non-answer, though. It's just like, we're not going to close the door on it, but who knows? And coming from them, the people that, I don't know, didn't they announce Final Fantasy VII Remake during the 80s? I can't remember exactly when they did it. Pretty sure Nixon was president when that happened.
Oh my god.
So, I mean,
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Exactly. I mean, look what Final Fantasy 15 turned into versus what it used to be. Wasn't it like Versus 13? Like it was.
God, I wish we could have got Versus 13.
Anyways, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole here if we keep discussing that. But
I just want to say, I remember being in high school on the computer in the library looking at Versus 13 trailers on GameTrailers.com.
I bet you were.
I was looking up so hard.
I remember being in college and printing out like a 1,000-page walkthrough for Final Fantasy IX. So
yikes,
out nerded. Somebody's like, "That's a big book report," and I'm like, "It sure is." That I'm using school resources, right?
Because I was in college printing off a walkthrough for Final Fantasy IX.
Because I don't know if you remember, but the real walkthrough was shit. You had to it was like, if you want to know the rest of this part of the walkthrough, go on to Play Online to get it. Oh, it doesn't exist anymore? Fuck you then.
Like, all right, fuck you guys.
It was the worst. It was the worst idea ever. I was like, I got this in print because I don't have ready access to the internet, you assholes. So, anyways, moving on.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy X-3, I don't know if that's something that I need to see or that I even want to see. I can assume that it would be a better game than X-2 simply because that released in 2003 and gameplay mechanics and storytelling have evolved much since then. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I would love to see Tidus again, just because. I was thinking about this earlier. I was telling my wife, I said, you know what? Tidus, if we're being real, Tidus is the first black main character in a Final Fantasy game.
Huh?
Jecht is black. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
No, he ain't.
Jecht is black. Jecht is black.
No, he ain't.
Go back and look at Jecht.
Yeah, he's tan as fuck because he's always out in the sun, but his hair is all straight and flat. Like he's a dark-skinned Japanese dude at best, dude.
No, if Jecht is not a black man, then I'm fucking white. Jecht is black.
Well, Tidus is certainly white.
Well, here's another thing.
He's
I said Jecht is black. His mom is white, and Tidus is Asian looking, especially in the CG cutscenes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Barrett.
I don't know
that distinction.
No, I mean just like straight up
the main
character.
I got you.
The MC. Yeah, I'm claiming Tidus. The Black Caucus is claiming Tidus.
I don't know. You might be alone on that one. We're gonna have to get some more
I might
votes.
be,
Listeners,
but I'm gonna keep it because
our listeners of color, please write in. Let us know: is Tidus black or nah?
Jecht is a black man.
We need to know. Well, I mirror your sentiments on Final Fantasy X-3. However, Final Fantasy .10, a preemptive journey, the commoning 252 over 2 days, the monk, his blitzball friend, and Braska, a journey to the west, or whatever the fuck they decide to call it. That prequel, I want to see that.
Yeah. I want to see Jekt, Orin, and
I want to
Braska.
see, the original pilgrimage.
Brave
That's what I want to see.
Same areas.
I'm down with OPP, other people's pilgrimages.
Right.
That's what I want to see. All right, let's move on. We hung out on that one for a while. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
See what happens. This is why we need that Final Fantasy side podcast we were talking about. Oh my god.
Man, I'm trying to tell them.
Why aren't we doing it? All right. Anyways, one of these days, Phil Spencer, big boy at Xbox. He makes a lot of sweet and admiring remarks to his competitors at Nintendo and Sony. I can't tell if it's performative, but it seems genuine. I kind of prefer someone like him to be the head of Sony because he seems to actually like what he does. And he likes video games. I feel like if he was the head of Sony, we probably would see backwards compatibility for PS5 for all the other PSs, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But he's made a lot of admiring remarks recently about the Sony DualSense controller, and it's sparking rumors that there may be a redesign of the Xbox Series X controller in our future. Now, I want to reiterate here that these are comicbook.com style rumors. These are not confirmed in the slightest at all. Right. And we know what happens when we go down the rabbit hole of rumors. I mean, look at the Switch Pro. Actually, you know what? I think we were right about the Switch Pro. I'll get to that later. Okay. But for the most part, rumors, you can buy into them and have fun with them. But the dark side of is a lot of people get real butthurt and they speak out and it becomes this big thing. And there are no winners, only losers and victims. So let's have fun with these rumors, but let's take them with a huge table grain of salt, okay? A whole bottle of kosher salt, okay? So, what do you think? I mean, haptics seem to be the wave of the future. Everybody that I've talked to, you've had experience with it, I've had experience with it, Nakruma's raving about it on Twitter. Everybody that I know has PS5 is like, yo, this DualSense, this shit is legit. You thinking other people are going to imitate it? You think it's going to happen with Xbox? Is that, you know?
I mean, it's definitely a possibility. They've got the money to do it. I'm sure they've got the know-how. Mm-hmm. My only issue with the DualSense is not with the controller itself, but the amount of developers that are actually taking advantage of it. It doesn't, like when I was playing Scarlet Nexus, the adaptive triggers, like when you do a psychic attack, are a little tight, but that's literally it. Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing else about it that screams like, ooh, haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, way for the future. And playing Judgment, nothing.
Yeah, I would say that you're right. I don't think we have enough data to really see whether or not it's going to be fully supported. But I will say that when it is fully supported, a la Returnal, a la Ratchet and Clank, a la Miles of Morales and Spider-Man Remastered, when it is used correctly, it's very nice. It's very, very nice.
Yes, it's very nice. It does make a finger very tired, though.
Yeah, my grip strength has definitely increased playing all these PS5 games this year. Like, I'm feeling pretty strong. Like, I could crush a coconut in my hand.
Right. Don't grab. Let's try not to grab our wife's asses. We'll probably crush them.
Yeah. Just like, no, my butt.
That's too hard.
No. Yeah, so, definitely that 2 damage might turn into 20 damage. We start grabbing that ass, so who knows. But yeah, no, I think it would be great. I think it's got some legitimacy just because that's just the way the wind's blowing no matter who's saying what. I mean, if it becomes successful and people are really raving about it and everybody I hear that has experience with it really likes it, yeah, why not? Mm-hmm. It's interesting because it's one of the first innovations I feel like that Sony got ahead of the other companies with. Usually it's Nintendo trying out the goofy shit. Like, Sony tries to pretend like it did the HD vibration first, but come on. That was Nintendo. Nintendo did that first. The Joy-Cons definitely have very distinct vibrations. You know what I mean? For all their faults, the vibration's pretty key. But this whole adaptive trigger thing, it's cool. And it's an idea all their own. And I hope that it does get copped because, you know, it does enhance the gaming experience, I have to say.
Yeah.
All right. So, recently, I don't know how recently, but I saw this today and I wanted to include it. We watched the trailer for a new Monster Hunter TV show on Netflix. And it's coming out really soon, August 12th. Yeah. And you can see the trailer right now on YouTube if you want. It's called Monster Hunter Legends of the Guild. It's a CG series pretty damn faithful to the games. And you can see a lot of recognizable monsters, and there's even a Calico in the trailer talking, which is really cool. And they're going on an epic quest to preserve the balance of nature and stop this rampaging monster. pretty much the plot.
That is part of nature.
Yeah, stories, Hunter stories 1 and 2. I'm kind of into it. I've been wanting to get into Monster Hunter in different ways. The main game's too much for me. Can't do it. Too much time investment. Got to bounce to another game. Got to move on. But the RPG and this, it seems like a way to do it. I mean, you just watched the trailer. You seemed a little less impressed than me, but what'd you think?
I think as far as the faithfulness to the property, looks great. The CG is what I have the biggest problem with. It does not look that good.
That's fair.
It does not look that good. We've seen better CG. I feel like Advent Children, which was a 2007 movie.
Yeah, it does look better. Advent Children looks better than this. I would agree.
Yeah, which is, I mean, Advent Children, I'm sure had millions of dollars put behind it. So that's another thing. But as far as like the monsters, like when it first started and the monster was like destroying the village and stuff, I was like, oh, that looks badass. Oh my God, it looks so good. And then it got to the calmer sections where he was walking through the village. And I was like, oh, it's not going to look like that all the time. Okay. Yeah,
they might have cut corners like they did with Resident Evil. If the writing and the story is good enough, then it won't matter to me. I mean, Resident Evil, we were complaining about that last week. The animation was like a nitpick, but honestly, if the story was any good at all, we wouldn't have cared that much. You know what I mean?
No, not
like,
at all.
I don't care that you're ugly, but if you suck at your job too, then I'm going to talk about your face. You know what I mean? So I think it's just that kind of situation. So yeah, I wasn't blown away by the animation either. I like the style. And I like the voice acting and the setup so far. So it's a wait and see. I already got Netflix. I ain't got nothing to lose except for maybe a couple hours checking it out. So yeah, if you're interested, drop it on August 12th. We'll probably be talking about it later on. The last thing I want to talk about till we get to the big story is a little heads up for Smash players, because I always hate when I miss these. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin spirits are in Smash. They're dropping today, which as of the time of recording is the 16th, and will be available in Smash to get through the the spirit mode battles for 5 days. So by the time y'all hear this, you got a couple more days. Boot up your Smash. If you'd like to collect those spirits, go kick some Sakuna of Rice and Ruin inspired battles and get them spirits and have fun smashing
and
spirits and smash it up. Okay.
Spirit.
All right, here it is. So the Switch Pro did not happen last week, because it was happening this week. And here's the confusing part. Nintendo didn't make the Switch Pro like we thought.
What?
That's where we got turned around. They made the Switch OLED model. Valve made the Switch Pro, and they call it the Steam Deck.
Ooh, Steam Deck, baby.
Yeah, let me enunciate. Steam Deck. Steamy. So I don't know about the name. I feel like it can be turned around a little bit too easily. But other than that, the Steam Deck, people, it's been circulating everywhere. If you listen to a gaming podcast, it's already on your radar at this point. I told a little story about my troubles trying to pre-order one. I liked how they set up the pre-orders, though, to try to counteract the inevitable scalping. And by the way, it's already up for like $2,000 and $3,000 on eBay. Go check it out.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you know it. You know it. You fucking know it. But what they did is they opened up pre-orders today at 1 p.m. Eastern, and you had to have purchased a Steam game prior to like June 30th or so. I can't remember exactly what the date was. So basically, it had to go through Steam. You had to have a Steam account already set up and have purchased a game prior to even being announced. So a lot of scalpers who maybe don't play on Steam, all they do is professionally buy up a bunch of merch so people can't get it. They wouldn't be able to go in and buy it up. Also, They were starting to, unfortunately, they did this to me before I even got a chance to buy one. They started to limit, if you clicked too many times buy because the site was slowing down, then it was like, and you saw this message because I sent it to you guys. It was like, you have tried to buy too many things in the last couple of hours. Wait a while. And I was like, what?
Maybe you should take a break, buddy.
I was like, no. I did take a break, though. But luckily, I got it in my cart. And unlike Best Buy or Walmart, when it gets in your cart, it stays there, which was nice.
Right.
Novel concept, right? If you get one system in the cart, it gets to stay there because they know.
Like imagine going to the grocery store, putting something in your cart, and then it being the last one, and then somebody just snatching it out of your cart.
Right, because that's what happens typically.
That's what it's, yeah.
And honestly, that would be the best fix. Limit one, and if it's in your cart, it stays there. So that way, if the internet slows down or the site crashes, as it inevitably is going to do, and Steam definitely crashed a bunch, Then once the smoke settles, you can still kind of proceed through and purchase your steamy deck. So
your steaming pile of deck.
Your steaming pile of deck. So the specs on this, I'm not going to bore you with all the teraflops and the numbers. You can look that up if you want, but I'm going to layman's it up. So if you want to know the power of this thing, it's basically a portable PS4 Pro, which is pretty fucking impressive. The screen resolution, I think, is 720, but again, on a screen that size, that's what you want. I didn't hear much about the resolution because they're going to release their own dock, but any laptop dock or whatever, any USB-C dock, I think would work to get it onto a monitor. So you can dock it already, which is great.
Nice. They
say the battery life is going to be 2 to 8 hours, which seems like a pretty big range, but you have to consider that this is, for all intents and purposes, a PC. So if you have 60 frames versus 30 frames, if you have your graphics turned up, if you got your brightness turned up, there's a million different things that could have a game running optimally, suboptimally, anywhere in between that can have an effect on battery life. My suggestion, if you're playing high end, just be near an outlet. Be prepared that you're going to have to probably charge that bad boy, right?
Yeah.
There are 3 models, and this is where it gets interesting. So the base model is $399. Just a little more expensive than, say, a Switch OLED model. A little cheaper. Like, say it's like an Xbox Series X. I guess that's the price for that, right?
$499 is the price for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought that was for the Series X. Did I base? Okay.
No, you said X. At the S is
Series,
300.
I thought I said Series S. I'm sorry. So Series S, right?
Yeah.
$399 gets you 64 gigs on an eMMC card and a carrying case. Now, I'm mentioning the card specifically because this is not a high-speed read, okay? For a high-speed read, you want to get to the next model, which is $529. It's got 256 gigabytes on an NVMe SSD. So that's big boy speed.
SSD.
Fast read. Got that SSD, girl. You also get a carrying case. I think it also...
dick.
I'm going to try that on the wife later on. Hey, girl, you want some SSD? What's
SSD?
that? What's that, boy? It's that high speed, solid state dick.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
5G peen, baby.
Once again, the show has divulged into horny. I'm so sorry, listeners. Anyways.
Yes.
Did you get a carrying case with that? You get like a profile bundle. I don't know exactly what that means, if they're going to like give you Steam games or what the fuck a profile. I'm not that big into Steam yet. I have a very small library on Steam, enough to get this today. Thank you.
You don't need to get into Steam. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many games to play.
I know, right? But they're so cheap on Steam. Anyways,
I know.
That's the thing. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I think this is going to eat Nintendo's lunch if they're not careful. I'll talk about why. So it may also have an anti-glare screen, or that may only come with the final model. I can't remember which. But the final model is $649. It's got 512 gigs of the same high-speed SSD, exclusive carrying case, profile bundle, and an exclusive theme, anti-glare screen, big boy. That's the one that I pre-ordered. So I got till December to get that thing paid off. It's on layaway, baby. $5
What justifies the increase? Is it the anti-glare screen?
It's the amount of storage, because again, you're getting 256 gigs versus 512, plus the high speed.
Well, isn't the middle model the 512 as well?
No, the middle model is 256.
Okay.
So it goes 64 gigs with low speed, 256 high speed, 512 high speed. Okay.
Gotcha. That's a big boy.
He's big boy. So yeah, it's the controller. People were wondering about the placement of the sticks. From all of the reviews I've heard, people have had hands-on with the prototype. It actually is more comfortable than you would think. And I believe it because I've played similar kind of hand. Again, this is not a new concept, people. I'm in that emulation scene. There are a lot of Chinese handhelds and a lot of Android handhelds that are fucking crushing it right now overseas. And they can make their way here. Like I got little baby Ann Burnick, so I can do like some emulation up to like PlayStation or whatever. And that works okay. Yeah. But the technology to put PC games on a handheld is nothing new. But with Valve doing it, that's what's got me interested because of the support and the compatibility and the legitimacy and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's got the trackpads for games that are more mouse heavy. There's a couple of things that do concern me. One is the weight. This is a big boy because you got to consider it's got a lot of heat it's got to move. So it's got a fan in there going, got a lot of stuff. It is 1.47 pounds.
Okay.
It's almost a 2-pound handheld. Now, by comparison, a Switch, an OG Switch, not a Lite, not an OLED, but a Switch with the Joy-Cons attached is 0.88. Okay?
Oh,
So you take that 0.88 and you double it.
double it.
You take 2 Switches and you hold them back to back. So, yeah, that may be a little bit of carpal tunnel. I don't know. I think it'll be fine. It just depends on how you hold your Switch and how long you hold it and whatever, I guess.
Right. If there's a grip or something that makes it more comfortable to hold.
So, yeah, the weight is a concern. The battery life is a concern. There was a report from Kotaku that dropped today saying that it may or currently does not support very popular games on Steam because of some kind of technology issue. I didn't read too much into it, but it was like PUBG, Apex Legends, Destiny 2, a lot of shit that people want to play online, a lot of very popular PC games don't work on this right now for some reason. So there's that. Now, me personally, that doesn't affect me. I mean, I talked about my opinion of Apex Legends earlier on the show, but I'm thinking of the possibility you can actually remove the operating system that they have on here default, the Steam operating system, and put Windows on here if you want. And for all intents and purposes, this could be a motherfucking emulation beast. I could turn this into a PS2. I could legally rip all the ISOs from all the discs that I own and move them to this thing and play PS2 games on the motherfucking go. And that, to me, is already worth the price of entry. But when you add in the expansive and often on sale Steam library, the possibility, and it can do mods. Like, you can finally play Skyrim, but like the legit Skyrim, like the Thomas the Tank Engine, Macho Man Randy Savage fucking Skyrim on this bad boy. So there's a lot of possibility here. I'm pretty excited to be an early adopter of this thing and check it out. I'm a little worried because Valve has done hardware before and left it in the dust, but I feel like just this seems to really play to a lot of people's wants, and I'm going to get a whole lot of hands-on time this winter because I'm going to have a lot of time to myself for reasons I'll disclose later, but there's definitely going to be a good reason to sit and play this for a bit. So, yeah.
Awesome.
You got any opinions? I know you've looked into it a little bit. What are your thoughts?
My only gripes are the weight and the button placement. Like, the buttons are really high up. And I don't know, it just feels, it looks weird to me. But again, when you get it, I'll be able to put it in my hands and see what's going on with it. But I mean, very interesting. Very interesting. Not for me, but especially with the battery life issue, because I'm always kind of on the go, sticking to moving.
I feel you. All right. Well, that is, we'll have more to say on that as more news comes out, and definitely more to say in December. So look forward to that. And we got listener questions. So I want to quickly get to listener question that we had last week that we didn't have time to get to. And it's from our friend Ron B. Thank you so much for sending in all of these insightful observations and questions. It helps us out, and we really enjoy answering your questions. And that goes to anybody else. If you think of anything you want to ask us or any feedback you have on the show, we are more than happy to connect with you, go back and forth. We have a lot of fun with these. But this week, he asked about the future of gaming. He said, you guys probably remember we were younger. Certain things like books and movies kind of always portrayed the future that is now as way more advanced than we actually are. That seems to always be the case. In the futuristic world of 1998, LA has fallen into the ocean.
Right.
Flying cars, AI, men on Mars, that kind of shit, he says. When it comes to gaming, is there something that surprises you that hasn't happened yet that you thought would be possible by now but isn't or hasn't been implemented? So, Derrick, you first. Anything that you're like, maybe we should have this shit by now?
I'm surprised we don't have like some sort of chip we can attach to something on our brain to put us in the game.
That's scary.
I know. It
like
is
a la
scary,
Johnny Mnemonic, maybe? Or like the Matrix, maybe?
Yeah. Like, I'm surprised we can't like jack in per se and actually be inside a world. Like, we have, like, there's a lot of different anime to do this. Sword Art Online. They have the VR headset that you put on and you actually plug it in and you're there. Like, you're there. It's a completely, you control the character's body. It's not like the PlayStation VR or Oculus Rift where you're just kind of moving your hands and like leaning forward to walk. You're like actually performing all of these moves as if you're actually in the game world.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I'm kind of surprised we're not here. But the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, that's pretty fucking wild.
Yeah, I don't know if I want that. That sounds like, because that could be. There are some.
Oh, you're gonna have a lot of people sucked in.
I was going to say, there's some advances in technology that I feel like would not make the world a better place. That sounds like Ready Player One, which worked out for him, but in the real world, I'm like, nah, guys, no.
Yeah, no, leave me alone.
No, that sounds terrible. Don't fuck with my brain, please. But but along those lines, I always thought that VR would be more advanced by now, that you could put on a wireless headset and actually walk around an environment and interact with things. Or more a la Connect, the idea was that we'd have AI advanced enough, like that bullshit Milo demo where the kid was reacting to you and he could read your face and the emotions on your face. I thought by now we would have full body control of games like that using a series of cameras or wireless hardware that would assist with that. And it seems like that's not far along, or the technology's not there yet, and it's not really accessible as far as price either. So that's what I'm really surprised about. I feel like by now we should have a VR set that's as easy as picking up a controller, but you're putting maybe something over, like a visor over your head, and boom, you're in it, right?
Right.
So that's I think where I'm at. I don't know, listeners, what do you think? What kind of technology in gaming would you have expected by now that somehow we haven't got? The only other thing I can think of, and I think I talked about this before with Miles Morales, I want a game, and I think it's more manpower and time. But again, maybe as tools progress, it'll be easier and faster to do this. I wanted a game that truly could handle fully destructible environments, an open world where everything is fully modeled. You can walk into all the buildings. It really feels lived and breathed in. The AI is something that Cyberpunk promised, but definitely did not deliver. You know what I mean? I keep expecting that, and we keep believing it, because Cyberpunk 2077 was not the first time we were bullshitted about something like that. They've been trying that shit since back in Shenmue. And Shenmue, for its part, Shenmue actually was pretty impressive for the time. But that promise of that kind of Peter Molyneux-style promises, where he was always just shooting the moon and bullshitting, you know what I mean? Like, those are the kind of things I would expect it to actually be real by now. So, let us know what y'all think.
Yeah, you know what else? I want to smell stuff. I want to smell stuff in my games.
What does smell like?
I want to smell something. Actually, even more so, I want to taste it. I want to taste. You know how good this food is looking in these games now? Yeah. Like, especially like Final Fantasy 15. I found another recipe.
I've discovered a new recipe. Yes.
And the food that Ignis makes in that game looks so good.
I want to taste Studio Ghibli films. That's what I want to taste. Whenever they have like ramen or ham or eggs, I'm like, God, give it to me. Yeah, you're making me hungry. I don't think I've had dinner yet. I'm going to run up and have dinner now. All right.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Well, okay. Well, speaking of getting into things, I got to know this week, before we head out, Derrick, what are you feeling this week?
I'm feeling eating a little bit healthier. So we were on a kick for a while where it's just fast food. Not cooking at home at all, just McDonald's, Burger King, all that bullshit, Taco Bell, blah, blah, blah. But after my visit with the doctor, and subsequently my wife's visit with her doctor, it's just kind of like, you gotta stop bullshitting at a certain point, you know? And you gotta bite the bullet, and you gotta try to eat healthier. So we've been eating a lot of salad, and like with some, chicken mixed in there. I've been just having like little sandwiches here and there, some sugar-free candy for that sweet fix, because I got a fucking sweet tooth, man.
Oh man, it's you and my wife, dude.
I was surprised. I was like, I had so much anxiety about going to the doctor. Like they're going to tell me I have diabetes. They're going to tell me I have diabetes.
Oh no, I got the best.
So before we get to that point, I want to do something that prevents that. Or at least slows it down, because it may be past the point of no return. I don't know. Eating healthier, man, it actually has me feeling better. Because when you eat like shit, you feel like shit.
True. That's true.
So I'll eat a nice salad with some chicken that she seasoned up real good with some Caesar dressing on it, and just
hey now.
And it's just a light fullness and not that fullness I had when I was driving over to your house after eating fucking garlic steak burger.
Yeah. And every bathroom trip is an emergency.
Right. I was like, guys, I was driving to his house. His house is a half hour away from mine. I was driving to his house.
Healthy distance. Yeah.
Completely full off of Steak and Shake. Like, Oh my god, my stomach, my my stomach and my stomach are like sitting over my belt, and I'm just like, oh my god, I need this to stop.
Oh man.
So we're gonna get it figured out. I'm gonna get to the point where I cannot just place my hand on top of my tummy.
That's a good goal. That's a good goal.
Yeah. I just want it to be, flat down. I don't want to be able to hold anything on that.
Not ready for the dad bod just yet. I got you. Well, as far as what I'm feeling this week, you're feeling physical health. I'm kind of feeling mental health. So I discovered this channel on YouTube that I really like to watch. There's this lady. She's a psychiatrist in Atlanta. She's got over 20 years experience. Her name and the name of the channel, this is all together, Dr. Tracey Marks. So Dr. Tracey Marks does a lot of videos where she'll talk about different symptoms. Like she'll talk about different types of depression, some of the treatments that things are going on. She'll talk about what ruminating is and how you can counteract that, what projecting is and where that comes from, how you can counteract that, how to tell if you're anxious or depressed or neurotic or all three. And I've been learning a lot because everybody is very different. We're all a rainbow of mental deficiency. So
right.
Everybody has their own particular brand of issue, and it's a very specific flavor. And so I'm always trying to learn because I think it helps me grow as a person and kind of grow into more of that calm, collected person I want to be. And I've been really enjoying her videos and really learning a lot. So this goes on to a theme I think we were talking about mental health a couple episodes ago. If you struggle with it at all and pandemic wise or money wise, you just can't get out. I ain't saying this is a replacement for therapy because it is not. But if you're already on that journey, one of the things I found most helpful while I was in therapy is listening to other therapists or listening to podcasts or talks. I mean, I got really into Brene Brown. She helped me a lot. And so with Dr. Tracey Marks, I'm continuing on that path of learning, and it's really helping me out. So that is what I'm feeling this week. If y'all are interested, I'll be sure to leave a link to her channel in today's show notes, so you can check that out.
I just went ahead and subscribed so I can help myself out some more.
Awesome. Well, yeah, let me know what you think if you end up listening to any of her. And so we're going to take a quick break for the sponsor, and we'll be back to close it out after the short message. All right, and we're back. What a wonderful ad that was. It's the same ad we always play. Maybe somebody else will actually take notice. Who knows? In the meantime, to pay those dues, Derrick, if the people are interested in them gamer goodies, possibly more, where can they locate you at? Check out the stuff you have in your store.
So they can check out everything I have for sale at ebay.com/str/gamergoodies and more. They can follow me on Instagram at GamerGoodiesMore and Twitter at goodies_more. I'm posting stuff, trying to post stuff every day, but you know how life goes. So, I do it when I can. So check me out.
I think you're doing all right, man. Well, also, you can find us at our main hub at anchor.fm/player2 is enter the pod. And we post episodes every single Sunday. We can be listened to at that hub or anywhere you can find podcasts available. That includes Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. You can also find us on Facebook and YouTube. Facebook.com/player2 is enter the pod. The YouTube channel is called Player2 is enter the podcast. And we put notifications of new episodes as they drop if you'd like to subscribe or follow us there. You can follow me personally. I'm on Twitter at MikePetersonAL, and I also do Twitch streaming, twitch.tv/MCPaperstacks, and you can check the schedule, but I typically stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays. And finally, we have a Patreon, so if you'd like to support our Patreon and consider throwing a few bucks our way to help support the show, all that money will go back into the show to make it even better experience for our listeners. You can visit patreon.com/player2 is enter the pod, and check out the different tiers to see if something interests you and helps support us. We'd really appreciate it. And that is our show.
And what a show it was. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Love you. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Peace.